sure. Okay. So, hi guys!
Hello.
Oh, hi! I was like, getting back at me.
I didn't know who you were talking to.
So, this is going to be the official first episode of Spines with Wines, which is the new book club started by myself, Cassie. You can say hi.
Hi.
And Melissa. You can say
Hi.
hi. For the first book club, we decided to choose The Dead House by Kurtagich as our book that we read because it's October and that's like a creepy book, so we thought that would be pretty perfect for the month, just to get everyone kind of in the spirit of Halloween. But this book basically follows a girl named Carly who has DID, which is dissociative disorder, and she's one person during the day and then she's a completely different person at night. So she's a very unreliable narrator, and the story is told throughout journal entries, and it's very like mixed media, and that makes it really fun. But anyway, we're gonna talk way more about it, and because this is like a book club for people who have read it, there are going to be spoilers. So if you haven't read it yet and you want to, you can turn it off now and then come back after you read it to watch this so that you get like the full discussion experience. And because we're called Spines with Wines, we're also going to be drinking wine as like, you know, typical book club fashion. So if you are 21 years old or whatever age it's legal to drink in your state, then you are welcome to drink along with us. But do one of you guys want to start and tell us which wine you're drinking for today?
Sure. I am drinking a Riesling, and it is called Kung Fu Girl.
Ooh.
I got it for obvious reasons, because it's adorable, and called Kung Fu Girl. And when I asked the clerk at the wine place, he said it was pretty good. So I will take pretty good.
That sounds good.
Okay, I got Jawbreaker. It's a Cabernet Sauvignon, as I think it's pronounced, and it smells pretty good. I haven't drank it yet, but I got it because it sounded dark and horror-esque, so I thought that fit the theme.
That's
and also, it's red, like the blood of my enemies, so.
Very nice. I am drinking Apothic White because I really like white wine, and this like design reminded me of like the design on the cover of the book, like the trees and stuff, and I thought Apothic sounded like gothic, which is horror-like. And it is a winemaker's blend, so I have no idea what this is going to taste like, and I really hope that it's on the sweeter side. Okay, so for me, I would say like one of the most like interesting and appealing parts of the story was the way that it was told. How did you guys feel about reading throughout the different like mediums, and was there anything that you liked more than other ways, or anything that you felt like the author should have maybe left out?
I liked it. I thought it was interesting. I loved how they included pictures, and like I was a little confused though because some of like the entries and stuff were like flashbacks of like a year, or, like a couple years ago, and it was kind of hard to keep up with the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was interesting. It was kind of cool. Kind of reminded me of like a House of Leaves type, where it's like an interactive kind of book, but not really. But it felt like that because you're like, ooh, I'm looking at these pictures and reading someone's personal diary.
Okay,
So that's pretty cool.
My only complaint about the diary entries though were some of them were like prose.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, who writes a diary? Like, man, my sister visited me and she said blah 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 loudly, and then she did this, and that didn't feel natural to me.
Yeah, some of the I was like, okay, no one would type like this in their freaking journal. Like, it felt a little forced.
Mm-hmm.
Like the handwriting that made it seem that way, just kind of. I mean, it was obviously a font, you know, not real.
Also, she was supposed to be English, but she was writing in American English, but she was supposed to be British English, so I thought that was strange.
I was confused about that. Yeah, because she used like Z's and, you know.
Yeah, I was like, this is not how a London teenager would write these words.
No, you wouldn't be able to understand it if it was a London teenager, if you think about it. I mean, just from what I've heard, it'd be like, you know.
My least favorite part of it was I liked the diary entries, and my favorite was like the transcriptions of the different interviews, but I wasn't as into the like descriptions of the video footage.
Yeah, no.
I just felt like if you're telling a story in like mixed media and your medium is a book, like using video footage isn't necessarily like the most effective way, because whoever is recounting the information to us is giving us like their biased view of what they're seeing in the video and not necessarily like what actually happened.
Yeah, it's subjective.
Yeah. Also, like you said, Melissa, with the dates, it sometimes could be a little bit hard to follow. Like, you had to really pay attention to whether the events happened like after the incident occurred or beforehand.
Right. I would get confused. I'd be into it. I'm like, wait a minute. So I'd have to like go back and be like, okay, so this is that day, because you would forget. Well, I would forget. But yeah, it's a little confusing that way.
And how did you guys feel about reading from such an such an unreliable narrator's point of view?
I thought it was interesting. Wait, keep going. What?
No, wait. You go first every time, and then I'll go, and then
okay. I felt like I was kind of going crazy at times. Like, some of the times it was really relatable. Like, you know, she seemed sane-ish, but then she was just crazy, and I'm like, this is crazy. Like, this girl is obviously nuts. Like, if she doesn't realize that she's nuts, it's like a voyeuristic kind of view. I mean, I think that was the point of, you know, making it like a diary, is so you could feel like a voyeur. But I mean, it was interesting. I mean, I've read books like that before where you were like surprised at how crazy they actually were, or you didn't realize it to the very end. And like, I feel like it was pretty apparent during some of the times where you're just like, this girl is freaking nuts.
Yeah. I kind of liked it because I think it fit the horror theme, because you're like, oh, what's happening? Is this real? Is it in her mind? Is it actually a demon? So I think it kind of worked just because of the genre. I don't know if it necessarily would have worked for, something else, but I think it worked for this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it did.
I think she did a good job of like differentiating the two girls' personalities, even though they were like in the same body. But I always struggle a little bit with unreliable narrators because I like to feel like I can like trust a character who's telling me a story. But not in this. Like, that was just not the case. Especially like toward the end. But I figured that we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Also, I thought it was really cool how her sister was able to like easily differentiate between the two personalities. And it also like kind of made me wonder if she really did exist all the time. Like, throughout the book, the doctor had said that Caitlin was the result of like her parents' accident and she suffered trauma, so that's why she existed. But she, like, her sister obviously was able to tell the difference very easily, and they, like Caitlin and Carly, said that they had always existed simultaneously. So I just like wonder what was true in that case.
Well, didn't that like
I don't know.
Brett character was like, oh, you're so different at night. It's like, so she must be like, like at least, but a normal person isn't gonna be like, oh, she must be inhabited by another person at night. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
But it was kind of weird. Like, wait, sorry, what?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, it was just kind of weird because, like, the whole dissociative personality disorder was pretty much available as, like, this is what's going on, this is what her therapist has diagnosed, this is what she, knows that she's being diagnosed with, and yet you're kind of given this viewpoint of, like, oh, that's not true at all. Like, it's obviously this, like, supernatural, like, weird phenomena going on, but then at the end you're just kind of like, wait, like, so was this all along? Like, it was really confusing how they toyed with your mind that way, like, back and forth.
Yeah. I have, like, a lot of issues with the ending, but I figured that we'd get to the ending later.
Okay.
It was, like, I was just like, what?
Yeah, was just kind of, really? Like, after all this?
What?
I was just like, after all this? Like, okay, we'll get to it, but...
Oh, my gosh, it got me so annoyed. Do you think that the author did a good job of like, displaying the way that Carly and Caitlin were because of their mental illness? Like, do you think it was an accurate portrayal and she was sensitive to the way that someone with that would be? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, like, that condition and stuff. I don't really know a lot about it, to be honest, so I don't think I could offer like a fair perspective on what was an accurate portrayal or not. But I think it's probably something like that. I mean, I'm sure she did her research,
Yeah.
so
And she
it doesn't
probably
seem like it
wouldn't.
would be that hard.
Yeah. And she probably wouldn't want someone reading it and being like, oh, she thinks having this disorder is the same as having, another demon inside of you. So, right? Is it a demon? I don't know.
Yeah, she was like possessed or something. Maybe.
Maybe a demon? I don't know. Or it was two personalities, but one of them had a demon? I don't know.
Yeah.
So I think they said, right, like, this was all like events that occurred in the past, and the reason that they were like reading her journal was because it was like, I think it was 20 years later, and people started disappearing from that scene.
Right.
Time frame. So do you think that like did they bring up her journal because they knew that she had issues in the past, or like I wasn't clear on what the connection was and like why they were all of a sudden investigating her.
Also, why would people suddenly be disappearing? Like,
yeah, like it just didn't make sense.
Was it like an anniversary or something? I'm trying to remember. I don't know. That's a good question. There are a lot of things like that weren't really explained.
Yeah.
It wasn't very.
Yeah. I felt like for me, like the first like 2/3 of the book, I was like, this is so good. This is so interesting. I need to keep reading this. And then like the last third, I was just like, I don't even know where this story went or why this is happening right now. And then at the end, I was like, so nothing was really explained.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much. I feel like it was just kind of like I don't know. It just felt like a neatly wrapped, like, she's like, I don't know how to end this. I'm in over my head. Like, I'm just going to wrap this up and just go with the first option.
This is too much. It's just going to end here.
Yeah. She's like, oh my God, I don't know what happened. There's like ghosts and ring light girls, and I don't even know. Like, bye. Like, I'm done. She had personality disorders this whole time, so. Yeah.
Some of the parts I found strange were when she'd be like, oh, we'd go through a diary entry, and then the end would be like, and that note was never found, and then never mention it.
Yeah.
But that never had any significance to any part of the story. So it's like, why even mention it?
I guess these pages were found missing or like torn out,
I don't know. To make her more unreliable? I have no idea.
Like somewhere between these pages being torn out, she changed her mind about doing this, and it's been 3 months now, and you're just like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, what happened? Nothing?
Also, was the part you started drifting off? My part was like halfway through when, spoilers, obviously, they just like escape the mental institution and they like hide her in the school, which is like the place they're gonna look for her. That's where it lost me.
Yeah.
That's where I was like, ugh.
That is exactly when I was like, okay. Yeah. Now. Also, like, so the therapist, that had to be like the worst therapist in the world. And I think like one of the scariest things for me with this book is that somebody like Carly/Caitlin was able to just go and like attend this school with very minimal supervision, and like they were just like, this is totally fine. Let's just like have you interact with regular people and live normally, because you probably won't do anything because you haven't done anything in the past.
Right. You just went in a mental institution. No big deal, with a very violent half personality.
My like immediate thought was like, oh my God, is this what happens in real life? Like, did they just let people like this try to integrate? Or like, do I not really just see that in real life? Or was this like a really big liberty that was taken?
Well, if we've learned anything from Pretty Little Liars.
That's true.
That's hilarious.
That was just like so scary to me. What were you guys' feelings on like the supporting characters in the book?
I like Nadia.
You did? I didn't like her.
I liked her. I thought she was interesting. She was annoying at times, but I thought she was interesting.
I just she lost me with her like dark magic stuff, and I couldn't like Okay, so the therapist said that what she thinks is that it was like group hysteria, and that yeah, I guess Caitlin kind of convinced Nadia and they were feeding off of each other. Like, do you think that that was the case, or do you think that she really like was into this stuff, or she just, I felt like she was hindering Carly for the whole time. Like, I didn't think that their friendship was healthy at all.
No, I did feel a little toxic. No, I felt like the whole group hysteria thing, that's definitely plausible, but she was into this like witchcraft voodoo shit from like the very beginning. Like her grandma on like that random island somewhere, you know, and like, I don't know. I feel like she, you know, she brought that with her. She knows like that's not a hysteria thing. Like she is that.
I felt like they kind of, like the author kind of threw in that tidbit too about how she had had like a previous experience where she was in a mental institution. Like, I didn't necessarily feel like that was necessary. Like, it was already confusing enough, and we already were not sure whether this happened or not, but like it felt like that was thrown in to be like, oh, by the way, she's possibly even less reliable.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm already very skeptical, so I didn't need this.
Yeah. Yeah, they were all pretty, I don't know. I didn't care about any of them. Whatever. I didn't feel like, I don't know, they all didn't feel like full people. It was just like, and then this guy's here and he loves this person, and this guy's here and he loves this person, and oh, here's this John guy, he just hugs everyone really violently for no reason. Here he is.
Oh, yeah.
Now he's part of our group. Oh, and Brett is like, oh, he's messing around with the occult for some reason.
Did you like did you like either one of the male characters that were like potentially a love interest?
I knew no, and especially when she was like, oh, one of them is the, you know, the bad person. I was like, oh, that's obviously Ari, Mr. Bowler.
Yeah.
I was like,
that
it's
was
definitely
my too. As soon as I saw him, I was like, well, this is a shady character.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Hanging out in abandoned buildings in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that's totally normal.
Yeah. And then they explained him as being like a military kid that moved around a lot.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know. I did not like him.
Yeah, they all kept dying, and like I did not care that they all kept dying. I was just like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like she didn't really give us any kind of chance to build an attachment to any of the other people. So their deaths like really weren't that meaningful. It was more like, it also, I mean, maybe possibly there is enough to build that kind of attachment, but we were just too distracted by what was going on with Carly and Caitlin to like really focus on anything else. Maybe.
That's all I cared about, to be honest, was like Carly and Caitlin. Like I just thought that was really interesting. Like I just wanted more. I wanted to hear like how it first started, like more about like their history and like them and who they were. Like that's who I cared about. Everything else was like, this is boring. I don't care.
And there wasn't even very much of Caitlin, really.
No.
Like even in the notes where they talked to each other, there was not a whole lot.
Well, I thought that like this wasn't like the second half of the book just Caitlin.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Carly.
Okay, I was like, wait.
Yeah, because
there wasn't enough of the daytime girl, Carly.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely didn't tell us that much. And I think, like, I mean, even the other stuff was mostly, like, it was all Caitlin's entries, and everything about Carly was through Caitlin's eyes, so it was really, like, we didn't really have much to go on with her.
Maybe, like, under.
Yeah.
It was weird. Do you think that she was actually, like, possessed and that her whole story happened, or do you think that, like, this was just a result of her disorder?
I think it was a result of her disorder.
Really? I'm going to go full ghost haunting. Why not?
I want to. I love it.
It was a waste of a book to me. Why are all those people disappearing if it was just mass hysteria?
I don't know, but, like, the fact that they are just felt like such an afterthought. Like, I'm not...
Yeah.
We're convinced
and, like,
that it happened.
You know, like, yeah, and like the whole dead house, you know, like a house in like psychological terms is supposed to represent like your mind. And like it's so it just seems so obvious to me, you know, like, oh, the dead house, like this is her mind, it's totally screwed up. Obviously she's like split personality disorder, there's like crazy stuff happening, like I just feel like it was a very obvious psychological thing because that's how it ended. So I feel like everything just had to be that, you know,
Yeah,
like
demons, psychological demons. Oh, it's a metaphor.
Do you think that the therapist deserved to have her license revoked?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. Is this like
she's like, oh yeah,
she fucked up on?
Right.
Or is she like bad all the time? I don't know. She probably shouldn't be sending people to school when they have, you know, severe psychological disorder.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I didn't really like that they painted her out to be like such a bad guy, but it was just, I guess her position of being a bad guy was just from Caitlin's point of view, where of course she would seem like a bad guy. Mm-hmm. But like, I feel like that's such a tired trope, always making like a therapist like the bad guy, like blaming them for this. Like it just feels so tired and overdone.
Yeah.
You know, like I think that's where like a lot of mental disorders and illnesses get a really bad rep because they paint out these therapists, you know, using pills and like quick to assess like what a condition is, to, you know, like that's why people don't like to seek out help. Like this is where like the problems lie and like the whole stigma of therapy and like mental illness, I think. So I think just contributing to that fact and making her seem like a villain was just a really tired, bad idea if you wanted to move forward in that direction. Just saying.
Valid. One of the things that I thought was really interesting, like that did happen toward the end of the book, was I really liked Caitlin's like internal monologue when she was so stressed out about whether or not to sleep with Ari, because technically like she would also be de-virginizing Carly because they're in the same body, even though they're two people.
Yeah, it's weird.
It was just such a strange concept to me.
Yeah, they would both have to like meet the guy they wanted to do it with and like approve and be like, okay, yeah, and then who gets to do it? I don't know.
Exactly. That's so weird. That's
weird. Oh, yeah, didn't she say something like, "Oh, I raped Carly," right? Doesn't she say that? She says, "I basically raped her because of what I did." I was so disturbed by that. I was like, "Ugh."
Yeah, it was a little screwed up.
Yeah.
Also, another like major supporting character, kind of, even though they were inanimate, is the diary with D. What was like your feelings on that?
It's interesting, I guess.
Don't everyone jump to answer that one.
Mel, you're supposed to go first.
Yeah.
So you, me, Kristen.
Oh, is that the order now? I'm just like jumping in. I don't know. I mean, just kind of felt like a scapegoat. Kind of like, I don't know. It just to be honest, it reminded me of this book that I read like a really long time ago that I thought was like the Diary of Laura Palmer, you know, from Twin Peaks, but it was like this other weird diary. I don't remember what it's called, but it like scarred me in middle school because this girl was like really innocent. She did all these like really crazy things that I didn't even know existed at that age, and I kind of got like that same vibe of like the diary being like a living entity itself, which it is, obviously. Well, is it? I don't know.
Sometimes it's a person. Sometimes it's nothing.
Yeah. I mean, she did see like that shadow of her.
Yeah.
But again,
like
who knows?
Yeah. It's so weird. But then, like at the end, remember the therapist went on to study like paranormal stuff, right?
And didn't they say
it's like, what's going on?
Mm.
But do you feel like she did that because she believed that there was truth in Carly's story, or do you feel like she did that because her license was revoked and she like really didn't have anything else to do?
She's an even more terrible person. She's going to profit off, you know, the death of her patient.
Yeah, well, you know, I think that she was a pretty terrible person, so I wouldn't really put that past her.
Yeah. She's just more
Maybe she did it so she could like discredit it, you know, like study it to like prove that it doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people do that.
Like Houdini did that with mediums. right?
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
seances and stuff.
Yeah. So like maybe she's trying like that's her route. It sucked.
I don't know.
Oh,
She said
this
it
is
said she would
totally
not talk about her experience at the, you know.
This is totally off topic of the book, but I somehow ended up at a psychic convention today.
What? Okay.
We went to the hotels to visit. There are like 2 hotels that are right near where Andrew and I are getting married, and we were trying to pick which hotel we wanted to like use as the hotel for people to go to, and one of them had a psychic convention.
The psychics which hotel to pick?
It was so weird.
Do they sell tarot cards?
Yeah, there was this one room. It was like the room where people would go to have a brunch the next morning, and the person was like kind of trying to show us around the hotel, and she like opened the room to show us like this is where you would have brunch, and then one of the like main psychic ladies was like, you can't go in there, and there were all these people getting readings, and I was like, okay.
It was so weird.
It was very strange.
You'll
But
never
anyway,
know what that room looked like.
It was very weird. But back to the book.
It's kind of related.
Nice little side anecdote about supernatural things that I've experienced today.
Yeah, that's supernatural-y.
I think, like, okay, so how many stars would you give this book overall? Or did you give it on Goodreads?
Oh, God. I haven't been on Goodreads in a while. I'm behind on that. But if I were, I'd probably give it 3 stars.
I also gave it 3. I gave it 3.5 on Library Thing because that's a different rating system. I kind of wish Goodreads had halves.
Yeah, they really need to, like, get on it.
Yeah. But I also go by that, what is it? Like, I liked it. I didn't love it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah. Like, it was entertaining, mostly.
I wouldn't read it
But the
again.
payoff sucked.
Yeah.
No.
I
Was it
also
good?
gave it 3 out of 5 stars. But even if there were halves, I think I would have stuck with the 3.
3?
Because I really loved the beginning, but I just hated the end. Like, I'm okay with having some things that are like a little bit open-ended. You don't necessarily know what happened, but I felt like there was nothing that was explained. Like, she just kept throwing stuff at us, and I just got no answers, and I just felt so unsatisfied.
Yeah, so unsatisfied. I like put down and was like, what? Are you kidding me?
I know. I was like, I can't wait for you guys to finish it and for us to actually have our book club so that we can talk about it, because we didn't talk about it beforehand because we wanted this to be the first time. But I was just like,
Also, I felt like the whole beginning, I thought she was just missing.
yeah.
Like the way they were like interviewing people.
Mm-hmm.
Unless those were interviews when she was still alive, I'm not sure now that I think about it. But it made it sound like she was just missing, not. Like, I feel like if they were interviewing people, they would be like, "Oh, she's dead."
Uh-huh. Do you think that she like did what she wanted to do and she went off to London so that her and Caitlin could live together? Like, do you think that Carly came back after their whole experience?
What?
I don't know.
No.
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 She ate Carly.
She's dead. She's just, or she's a ghost
Her
now.
soul.
Caitlyn's a ghost. I don't know. Someone's making people disappear there.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean,
Maybe the demon was the other Carly.
what?
Maybe the demon that possessed her was like other Carly.
Maybe.
Too many personalities to keep track of.
Yeah.
Too many people inside her.
Demon Caitlyn.
Too many questions.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. I don't know. The premise was really cool. And the book was really pretty. I was excited.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it would have been fun maybe if they made like the actual videos like into real videos that you could like watch.
Oh, like online? Like you'd have to go online to watch them or something?
Yeah, I think there's a book called The Night Film that does that.
Oh, yeah.
Multimedia and like, yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that might have been fun.
I haven't actually read that. I kind of wanted to read it last month, but I didn't get to it because I ended up reading other stuff.
Yeah.
Mainly Carry On.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I have heard that. Like, I think that probably would have been a better thing. Or, like, I don't know. Maybe they just... I wish that there was just something that they could have used instead of video montage because it didn't make sense in a book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it didn't.
Yeah.
I have the book back here. One of the cool things about it is that on the inside, like if you take off the jacket, you do get like a second cover, which is kind of cool.
That's the British cover?
Oh, is this the British cover?
That's the UK cover, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. You did that so that you get both. Although this to me looks more like if this were the cover, I probably never would have picked this up because it looks more like a middle school book.
Totally.
Oh yeah, an old school diary with like the lock in it.
It looks like a door to me. It doesn't even look like a lock. Like it looks very Doctor Who-y, almost like a TARDIS.
Yeah, it does.
Right? Like if you just look at the corner of your eye, I'm like, wait a minute.
Did you have any like favorite parts of the book or least favorite parts of the book?
I mean, I did like the supernatural stuff. Thought it was like scary as crap.
Yeah, when she cuts out her tongue, I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
No, that was pretty gross.
No. Like that had me. No. I don't think it was scary.
Yeah, I was never scared while I read it.
Yeah.
I thought that it was going to be, but I mean, in the beginning, I was more just like creeped out because I was like, ooh, it's like crazy that there's two people inside of this one person. But then as I kept reading, I was like, okay, I'm not really scared. Like I'm just interested in like knowing why this is all happening.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the part where John reveals that when her parents died, she was like, yeah, finally, they're dead.
Yeah, that was like that was another scene that really bothered me. Because, so like, did she just like grabbed the wheel of the car, but then does that mean that like she was, like in making that decision, was she fine with killing herself and John and her sister too? Or like I feel like there wasn't a definitive enough account of what happened. Like we just had to take this another shady character's word on like this is what happened.
Guy she hasn't spoken to in years. Who was he also away in a mental institution?
Yeah, because also too like I think they said part of the reason why they let Carly go to school is because she never was violent. But if that's actually what happened, like that's a pretty violent thing.
Yeah.
So I was just like confused.
And she stood over their bodies after? Like, I'm sure a witness saw that.
Yeah. Like any time that she gave us more information about certain things, I just ended up feeling more confused.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just too much information. Nothing was tied up.
Like, why did she even want them to die? Did we even, like, touch upon that?
No, I mean, I guess you're left to kind of infer, and what I thought was maybe, like, the only thing that I could think of would be, like, maybe there was some kind of, like, sexual abuse that was happening in her childhood that would also, like, kind of make her this way, and maybe that's why she created this separate personality. But again, that's, like, just a huge guess in the dark because there wasn't enough of anything to, like, lead you to that point.
Yeah, the only thing we know about them is that they know she has two personalities, and they're, like, really supportive.
Yeah, and they told her to, like, keep them secret.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which does seem like not necessarily the approach that most parents would go about.
Yeah, you think they would have sent her somewhere earlier.
Yeah. Oh, like unless some kind of abuse was happening and they knew that, like, they didn't want that to get out.
Mm-hmm. It's just like Frozen. They're like, oh, don't tell anyone.
It's a little bit different.
We won't help you control your powers, you know, taking you to visit troll doctors or anything. You're just going to...
Conceal, don't feel.
Yeah, and we'll hope you don't. Hopefully you won't go kill all your friends.
Instead of a glass house, she built a dead house. That's funny.
So also, like, with that party where the girl ended up going missing, do you think that Caitlin actually did, like, kill that girl?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else would do it?
I don't know. Yeah. Like, I just felt like the time frame, like she wouldn't have had enough time to do that and to like carry someone and put them somewhere.
Right. She would have had to hide the body and then get it later.
Yeah.
Drag it all the way up to that attic.
Yeah. It just was like more questionable.
Obviously, she has demon strength.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can explain anything that happened in this book.
Extra strong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because they were like, oh, how could she have possibly moved the big, giant Viking guy, John, by herself and then bury his body?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But she admitted to killing him, so I don't know.
Yeah. Which also is another thing that's like kind of strange, because if she admitted to killing him, like someone that she was very close to, then why wouldn't she have admitted to killing this other random person?
Right.
Maybe she doesn't remember. Maybe it's like a third personality.
Blackout or something.
Yeah.
Oh, like you think she has a third personality?
Yeah, maybe.
I think she has.
Don't they? Oh, no, wait, never mind. Ari kills Brett, right?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I was like, oh, maybe she killed Brett. No, never mind.
And also, like, I was confused with how they had that camera on her when she was, like, hiding in the basement of that building. But then there was, like, all of that writing and stuff on the wall. But the camera was supposed to automatically turn on whenever there was movement. Mm-hmm. And if she was the one that was, like, doing all of that, there would obviously be movement. So why didn't they pick that up on film?
Good point.
I don't know, the whole filming thing was like, oh, she would film like minor conversations with people for a sociology project. Here's us doing drugs for my sociology project at a party. Like, what? No.
Yeah.
You wouldn't film that. You wouldn't film like a 2-second conversation with someone about nothing.
Yeah. I think that's also why I struggled with it, because it just seemed like unrealistic that there would be all of this random video footage.
Right.
It's like those found footage movies where you're like, why are they still filming? They're being chased.
Yeah. And also, like,
the
Halloween party when she, like, had the camera in her hat. That's just, like...
That's so weird.
That part felt very, like, teen. Oh, and here's what everyone's wearing, and everyone looks great, and they're really expensive costumes, and she's got a fucking camera in her hat. Oh, and they just happened to find a Ouija board and summon a demon or something.
Oh, yeah. Oh, but it wasn't a real Ouija board.
I forgot about that.
It was way worse than a real Ouija board.
Yeah. But also then, like, if that was summoning demons, then it feels like she wouldn't have been possessed for the rest of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Necessarily. I
Ouija
don't know. I just, like, the more that I, like, think about it, the more that I talk about it and, like, just think of past things, I just end up coming up with more questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which might have been her intent. She's like, I just want to make the most confusing book ever that you'll never figure out.
It seems like the ending is so obvious. But, I mean, there's no... the ending makes it seem like the whole book is just an obvious... psychological, this is what's going on. This is a metaphor for, like, her mind. But that seems so obvious, like, there's no way it's that simple.
So you're
if you think that the dead house and everything was a metaphor for her mind, like, are you saying that you think that nothing at all happened and, like, everything, like, even the supporting characters and stuff are all people that she created herself?
No, I feel like the supporting characters were probably real people, but she, like, I don't know, like, these psychological conditions can get really complex, and it's possible she created a world, like, an alternate version of them, and I don't know, I mean, like, maybe she just... It's hard to explain, because I don't know enough about mental conditions to really be, like, an expert on the subject, but... I mean, I feel like the fact that she called the book The Dead House, and house being a really common and, like, typical metaphor for, like, your mind, when you dream... Like, when you have a dream about a house, it's supposed to be, like, what's taking place in your mind. So, the whole fact that this is a book, looks like a journal, it's called The Dead House, it's like, hello, this is her mind in a journal, like, that's what this book is, that's all it is. Like, it feels like that because of the ending, to me at least.
That makes sense. I mean, also, like, people all say that your like memories, like they call your mind like a memory palace. So it is
Yes.
like that kind of thing. I could see that. I didn't really think about that because I think I was just so distracted by all of the other things that I was more just like, I don't
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like when Carly goes missing, you know, the whole, you know, like the dead house, like maybe like her mind is like dead because Carly was gone or dead too. I don't know. I didn't really weirdly into it, but
I think it was just hard because the house is so important and then like not important at all.
yeah.
Like they make it feel like it's so important. They keep talking about it over and over and over again, and they go into it a few times, and then it ended up not really mattering.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't resolve anything with it.
That's why I think it was just a metaphor for her mind because they didn't even question it at the end. There wasn't a lot of like loose ends to make it. There wasn't like a sneaky little like there's some residue left over from that. You know, it's just kind of like, all right, what happened? Like, what's the deal? What's going
She
on?
killed herself because she was like crazy, not because she wanted to kill another dangerous personality inside of her.
Yeah.
That might be a demon.
I think so. I think it's possible.
So do you guys have any like final thoughts on the story, or like would you recommend this to someone else to read?
Maybe.
Your face.
I don't know. I mean, it sounds really cool, and like it starts off really fast paced. It's entertaining. It makes you think, but like I can't stand books that are like unsatisfying. Like it drives me crazy.
Like where'd she go with this?
Yeah.
Like I just get annoyed. Like and I'm just like, ugh. Like I get annoyed, you know? And I'm just like, especially if I can't like really figure it out. And it's not like there was like a little clue at the end, you know? Like usually with stuff like that, there's like ambiguous clues that mean one thing or another. Like there wasn't anything really like that. I don't know. Maybe. If you're like a prolific reader, then I'd be like, sure, yeah, give it a shot. If you're not a big reader, I would be like, maybe don't start with this one.
No, I don't. I can't think of anyone I would necessarily recommend this to. I kind of wish when I flipped through the book, I saw this, you know, the interesting source material stuff, and I kind of thought it was going to be more. Like it had a lot, but I thought it would be more varied, not just like a diary entry, a video transcript, an interview, that over and over again. Like you said, I thought it would be more illuminated, like House of Leaves, than I think it ended up being.
Go up to a mirror and do this. Yeah.
So I wish it was. I don't know, but that probably would have made it even more confusing and crazier than it already was. Like it was already hard enough to tell what was happening without, I guess, throwing all that into.
Yeah, I feel like if you're gonna if you're gonna play with the format, you need to have a very concrete story idea. Like it felt very shaky at times.
Yeah, I agree. I would not necessarily recommend this to anyone because I struggled with it so much, and I just think that would be mean. But like, I was like sad about it because it had so many things going for it. Like I pre-ordered it because I was like, this looks great. It sounds so interesting, and like the way that it was told was really cool, and the beginning was so engaging. Like I was just on the edge of my seat, like needing to read more, needing to know like what was gonna come next. And then once they like decided with the black magic, like this is the route that we're going in, I was kind of like, this is losing me. And then once it ended, I was like, there's nothing here that tells me anything, and like I need some kind of resolution. Like it almost felt like it was sad, but it almost felt like a waste of time. Like I'm glad that I read it because I thought that it sounded interesting, but then on the other hand, I'm like, I could have read something that would have made me feel like I had some kind of complete story. Like it just felt incomplete, I guess.
Yeah. No, I get that. I cannot stand when I'm unsatisfied when I read a book. I just feel like I almost wasted my time.
Yeah.
You don't know. But it's true, you know, like that's why I do like to read reviews, or not reviews, just like, you know, ratings of books before I buy them.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm always checking ratings.
And there's like 2 stars. I'm like, forget it. Sorry.
Yeah, then I won't even give that book the time of day, which also is sad because, you know, there are different things for different people, and I might end up loving a book that has a 2-star review, but I'm just so much less likely to actually pick it up if I see that that's the case.
There's only so much reading time.
What?
There's only so much reading time. You gotta pick wisely.
Yeah, which kind of gets into the topic of like DNFing, because I also have like a lot of struggles when it comes to putting down a book. I'm just not good at that. I usually, like, once I start reading, I feel committed. Except for Outlander. That was like the first book that I didn't finish.
I get that. I used to be that way, but now I've gotten to the point where if it's really horrible, I'll skim the end. Like, I'll skim it real fast so I can just know what happens.
That's smart.
Where's your give?
That way I didn't waste my time.
What if you only?
You know, I did that.
What if you only read like the first chapter?
I get books like at least 4 or 5 chapters because sometimes it takes a while for it to like pick up, like, and then it'll hit and it'll be like really, really good. So I give it like a little bit.
And then you're like, screw it.
I try to give a book like, as much as I can. I got almost 600 pages into Outlander before I put it down. Like, that's a really big chance.
Wow. God, big chunk.
I think it's like 800 something pages, so I guess also on the other hand, it's kind of like, why wouldn't you just
Yeah.
I know. I didn't do it.
Really bad. I have no desire to read the books.
Yeah. I did, because everyone used to love them, but they weren't for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we picking our next book? Like, do we decide on that now? Do we pick our next book now?
We already picked. Do you not remember that?
No.
We were in the group message where we discussed it.
I forgot, you guys. There's like 30 messages.
You'll be surprised, chill. So, okay, I feel like we probably said all of our feelings and stuff. Do you guys have any extra feelings, or are you ready to move on to announce the next book that we're reading?
I checked my notes, and we talked about everything ridiculous that I wanted to talk about. Except the part where they called someone a volt face. I have no idea what that means. I wrote that line down. Someone said, talk about a volt face. I didn't know what that meant. That's the only thing we didn't talk about. I don't know. I just wrote that down because it was so stupid. That's the only thing we missed, though, on my notes.
That's good, then. That means that we covered mostly everything. So, Cassie, do you want to announce the next book, since Melissa can't because she doesn't remember?
Yes. I'm so sad you don't remember. Our next book is, which we'll read in November, which is now somehow, is Winter by Marissa.
Oh, that's right.
The 4th book in the Lunar Chronicles, and the last book in the Lunar Chronicles, which comes out, I want to say November 6th, but don't quote me.
I thought it was Friday.
The 9th.
November 6th is a Friday.
Oh, the 9th. Okay, yeah. I'm really excited about our next book. I think that that this is also going to be like really nice because I don't know about you guys, but I feel like Cinder is one of the first books that the 3 of us really like connected over. So it's nice to like have our conclusion. And
that's like what we started it, I think.
Yeah.
Like the whole like, let's go to Barnes and Nobles and buy thousands of books. And talk about
that was such a fun day.
Yeah.
Wait, which one was that? That's like every time
Melissa and I went to you. We went to your apartment.
Oh, okay.
You took us to Barnes and Noble, and then we just went wild. I think we both bought like way more books than we should have ever had to carry on a train.
But we had like 2 bags, and it was just insane. It was insane.
Yeah. I remember
like,
very
good, okay.
Yes. And I know, like, I definitely bought Cinder that day, and I read the entire thing in one sitting the next day on that Sunday, and I was just like, this is so good.
Yeah. God, it really is.
I'm sad it's ending.
I know. Although, actually, I'm not going to say what I was thinking, because we can talk about that next book club.
Okay, we'll write it down so you don't forget.
Oh, I won't forget.
Okay. Uh-oh. Must be good.
Yeah. But, okay, so before I end this, do you guys just want to say, like, where people can find you? so that they can follow you because you're both awesome.
Okay. Go first.
You can find me on Twitter at Mecca Melissa, and that's it for now.
For now. So, okay.
I have like a long in and out of Inception, so.
Okay.
But you also do art. Like, you could also talk about the art and stuff.
That's true. I have a portfolio site that's, existing, I guess. So, but it's not up for public consumption at this moment.
I just
art.
My room got really dark that I'm in, like throughout the
it did
it just got really dark.
Haunted.
There we go. The Sunset. You can find me everywhere as Yerkmonger, YRCHMONGR, and it's a weird name, and it means, I made it in high school, and it means Orcmonger, because Yerk is orc in Elvish. I apologize. But I also have a book blog called Bibliomantics, which I do with 4 other people, so you can catch us there. We do book reviews, book news. Sometimes I'll make fun of a terrible book adaptation movie, that sort of stuff.
Yes, I love reading your reviews because they're always like really funny.
They are funny.
Some are snarkier than others. Some of the books I really hate, I'm not very nice to.
You guys are good about that. Also, I like you also do that one like hot off the proverbial presses.
Oh yeah, I take that list when I go to Barnes and Noble. I'm like, what is on the list this week?
Yeah, I try to do that when there's a lot of books out, so that's every Tuesday.
Yeah, you're good with that. I like also that it's not always just YA. It's like a mix between YA and adult, and it's always adult things that I would actually be interested in, and not like anything else.
Yeah,
it's basically just what I feel like doing.
It's usually what we like.
And as you guys may or may not know, you can also find me on Twitter at SuperspaceChick or on my blog, which is superspacechick.com, and also right here on YouTube making book videos. So that is all that we have for today, and we will announce what date our live show will be for winter, probably later on in the month when we coordinate schedules and stuff, and we'll definitely tweet it out so that everybody can know and maybe send us questions or anything that you might want to discuss regarding the book.
That'd be fun.
Hopefully we'll see you guys then, and we hope that you have a great night. Bye!
Bye!